Hi everyone, it's Danny. Alrighty, so today we're gonna repot the Masdevallia orchid that I purchased recently. As you can see, the flowers are spent, they're dried, and also this orchid has a ton of new growth, which makes me happy. But it is time to repot it because it is a fresh orchid. I don't know what's in the media. I don't know if the media is old or it has pests and snails and all of that. So that's what I usually do. Any new orchid that I have, I repot it. Now this will be the first time that I repot a Masdevallia orchid. I'm not sure what to expect, but hopefully we're gonna do a good job. Alrighty, so the first thing that I'm gonna do, of course, is to squeeze the pot. I think this orchid will come out quite fast. I do this because I want to detach whatever roots are stuck to the sides of the pot. Alrighty, so let's see what we have here. And this orchid actually looks good. As I suspected, this orchid was potted in sphagnum moss, which is not necessarily a bad idea because this type of orchid really likes to stay moist, likes to have moist conditions all the time, and sphagnum moss is indeed a good media for this orchid. But a mixture of sphagnum moss and bark will work as well, and actually that's what I'm gonna use. But for now, I am pretty happy with how this orchid looks like. It's a rare thing to see good roots on an orchid, on a recently purchased orchid. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do now is remove as much of the old media, if not all of the old media, as much as I can from the root system. Now, where I can actually pull it with my hand, I will. But what I'm gonna do actually is use a tweezers, and I like to use these long and kind of curved tweezers because I can go really close to the roots and pull out the moss without actually damaging the roots. One of my viewers actually asked me some time ago how I remove sphagnum moss from between the roots, because sometimes roots can be very, very fine and sphagnum moss can be very tight and your fingers might actually bruise the roots. And this is how I do it. I use a tweezers like this and just take my time and remove the sphagnum moss as carefully as I can. It's a process, it's gonna take a while, but yeah, it's for the benefit of the orchid to remove as much of the old media as possible. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna clean it as much as I can, and I will be back when I'm done. Okay, so I removed as much of the sphagnum moss as I possibly could. I will actually remove more when I go shower this orchid. But for now, I think I'm pretty much good. So what I'm gonna do now is cut away all the dead roots. Now, if you're dealing with an orchid that you've never seen before and you don't know how live roots look like in comparison to dead roots, you have to remember one thing. No root that is alive is ever gonna be mushy, or it's gonna pull right away, leaving behind a string. So when you see this happen, this is a dead root. Dead roots are mushy no matter the color, no matter the size, and they will always leave a string behind. This is how you would know an orchid root is dead. Live roots, on the other hand, look firm. If you press on them, they are firm. If you pull gently on them, they will not leave any string behind, and overall they have consistency. You can also see the live growing tips right here. This is a sign these roots are growing, so these are the good, healthy live roots. But as you can see right here in the middle, I have a multitude of dead roots. So I'm gonna remove as much of these as I possibly can, hopefully all of them, and I'll come back when I'm done. I forgot to mention, for this I'm going to use a sterilized scissors. You can sterilize scissors with alcohol or bleach, whatever you find fit, and all you have to do is cut away everything that looks dead to you, like so. Also, I forgot to mention, the tweezers also need to be sterilized because you can actually damage a few roots in the process, which is okay, but you need to sterilize all your tools. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with cleaning as much as I could the root system. What I'm gonna do now is actually go to the sink and wash the root system very, very well. I do this because I want to remove whatever sphagnum moss is left here, whatever old media is left here. I don't know, some creepy crawlers that I've seen moving around, and also I'm gonna spray the entire root system thoroughly with hydrogen peroxide 3%. This is just something I do because most of the times I do find snails and all sorts of stuff in the media. This doesn't really seem to have snails, but I did see a few molds and of course a few creepy crawlers, and I'm not sure what they are. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, and I'm gonna come back when I'm done. Okay, so I'm done with washing and sterilizing this orchid properly. Hopefully I did a good job. There's a lot of roots here, but Yeah, I sprayed this like heck. Alrighty, so for this one I'm gonna use a clear plastic pot because I do like to see how the roots are growing. And because Masdevallias like to stay moist all the time and they actually like a finer media, I'm gonna use a mixture of sphagnum moss and bark. It's gonna be a 50-50, I have to say. I'm not necessarily comfortable to use purely sphagnum moss, although I do have the ventilation holes. I'm just gonna mix in a little bit of bark, so hopefully that will be okay for this orchid. I'm actually pretty sure it's gonna be okay. So at the bottom of the pot, I'm actually gonna put mainly bark because I want this to be a good drainage media. And then I'm gonna start to add the sphagnum moss. I don't usually measure my media. Everything is done with common sense, but I think it's gonna be a 50-50 mixture. Now, when you have a massive root ball like this, what I like to do is place some media inside the root ball like this, so I don't have too many air gaps. And because I'm gonna use sphagnum moss, it's gonna be easier actually. Bark tends to fall down, but moss pretty much stays. There we go. And then I'm gonna place the orchid inside the pot, like so. This will be a tight fit actually. Okay, so because my orchid is pretty much a tight fit, it is still okay for this orchid, I'm actually gonna change my mind. I will continue to add sphagnum moss only and just a few pieces of bark. I have good drainage and that's pretty much what I wanted, but then again this orchid likes to stay moist, so full sphagnum moss all the way now. The reason for this is that the orchid has so many roots that it's gonna absorb the moisture very, very fast. Also, I have the ventilation holes, so sphagnum moss should do okay with this particular orchid and this particular pot. So as you can see, you kind of have to adapt things as you go, especially when you're dealing with an orchid that you didn't deal before. But yeah, if you know a thing or two about orchids and you have experience with medias in general, you can actually adapt it as you go. So I'm gonna fill this up with sphagnum moss and come back when I'm done. Okay, so here's a little tip when your orchid is pretty big and you don't want to damage the root system, but you have no way of actually pressing down on the media to go downwards. What you can do is actually squeeze on the pot so you have more space to place the media in. And make sure that you move gently so you don't disturb or actually ruin the roots too much. And there we go. This is how you do it. So here we are, my orchid is repotted. What I'm gonna do now is actually water it very, very well, and I'm gonna tidy it up a bit. I'm gonna cut away the old bloom spikes that will not bloom again. So I'm gonna go as low as I can towards the base of the orchid and cut them away. And that's pretty much it, and of course add my tag in. So this is a repotted Masdevallia orchid. Alrighty, thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it useful. If you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe. You can leave me comments and suggestions in the comment section below, and you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!